Okay.
You're in
Yeah,
charge.
perfect. Okay, so I'll just pass this to you, and if you want to go around and just introduce yourself and which challenge you were in and what you do now.
Hi everyone, I'm Rahil, and I am a fourth-year graduate student in electrical engineering and work in bioengineering. I co-founded a company called Hook. We make smart home solutions for affordable price, and we did the Environmental Innovation Challenge, the business plan competition, and beyond that, the Jones and Foster Accelerator program, which we are currently part of.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Vogel, co-founder of Pure Blue Tech. As far as this gap here, if you guys want to come a little closer, you're welcome to. I know you can.
Sit down.
We don't bite that hard, and I think I put on deodorant, so it should be okay. So Pure Blue Tech, I started with my co-founder and my team about 2.5 years ago. In 2013, I competed in the EIC, and then actually teamed up with a competitor and went into the business plan competition, and we ended up taking home second place prize at the EIC, and then first place in the business plan competition. Really both served as a launching pad, and at our core, we're a water treatment technology development company. Working to reduce the cost of water purification, save energy, reduce chemicals, make the world a better place through water purification.
Hi everyone, I'm Carly Holstein. I participated in the BPC in 2014 with the team FluFinder. I was a PhD student in bioengineering, and it was based on my thesis research, which was an at-home flu test. And we took second place in the BPC, and I graduated with my PhD just this spring, and I'm working for Providence Health and Services now in their digital innovation group.
Hi, I'm Ryan Ahearn, and I am the co-founder of JikoPower, and we were in the Environmental Innovation Challenge where we won the grand prize. We then went into the business plan competition. We're now in the Jones and Foster Accelerator. What we do is we make affordable off-grid energy solutions for people in developing countries who don't have electricity. We use thermoelectrics to create electricity from the cook stoves that they use every day.
Okay, so the first question I'll start out with is, what was the makeup of your team, and how did everyone's different background play a role in your experience?
Okay, so at Hook, we are 4 guys, and I'm the hardware. We have a software guy who works part-time on the project and full-time on his job with a big software company here. And we have our business guy who has an MBA, and we have our product designer who knows how to 3D print, get injection molding. So I make boards, my guy flashes our firmware and web apps on our boards, one guy designs good-looking enclosures, and the other guy sells. So that's what we are. Like, you have to have at least these 4 things to actually make a good product that can sell.
So back when we did the EIC, our technology was a visible light photodisinfection tech. That was our first one. And I immediately went to the career fairs and talked to my network, my network's network, and mostly found students. So Seth was a master's in electrical engineering, Alan, a PhD in physics, my co-founder, finance whiz, and myself, entrepreneurship and finance as well. Celso in microbiology, Nick in chemical engineering. So we had a very eclectic team in terms of our science background. And that team later morphed and evolved and brought on a competitor, and then later brought on board a number of world experts once we realized that we needed some deep domain expertise.
So our FluFinder team was a mix of bioengineering PhD students and MBA students, and I guess it got kicked off at one of these mixer events between the Burke Center and SEBA. I think it was called Tech Potential. So anyway, these kinds of mixer events to mix the engineering students and the business students are fantastic. So I presented my research there and met up with an MBA student who was really interested, and so we got together and kind of pulled in some people pretty organically who we thought would fit well with the team. And so it was essential to have both the scientific expertise as well as the business expertise. And I think what I was looking for and what I think worked well, so I guess what would be my advice is just picking people that you work well with, because you're going to spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah, what Rahil said is great. You know, you really need a mix of engineers and business people to actually make this work. When we started, we were just 3 mechanical engineering students, and we were able to make it work in the EIC because it was about the design. But if you're going to commercialize something, you really have to partner with the business people. And it is a fantastic experience to you know, meet with people from other disciplines and share your ideas and collaborate and actually take this and make it a product. And it's been such a fantastic experience. We've brought on more business people. We're at 6 people now. We've got engineers, we've got business people, we've got consultants, we've got mentors. It takes a village kind of to grow a company. And as Amy had said, they really put you in touch with a wonderful network, and it's an invaluable experience.
Yeah, awesome. So it sounds like you guys had some great teams. So what would you say was the most valuable aspect of the EIC and or BPC in your experience?
Here and So for us, going into the EIC, we knew nothing about how to run a business, how to start a business, how to do any of that. All we knew was how to tinker, and we really weren't sure that we were even in the right place. But what it did, I mean, yes, the money has helped out a lot. It always does. But more valuable than that is just the learning opportunity, meeting with people from different backgrounds who have different insights, offer different bits of advice. You know, the competitions really challenge you to, you know, to take it up another notch and to really to do all that you know, to do as best as you possibly can. It really grows you education-wise. You learn a great deal at a really, really fast pace. So, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so for FluFinder, we don't exist anymore, but a lot of the concepts that we kind of developed and embedded through the process do live on with my PI of my lab, who is still looking to commercialize the technology. So it lives on in a sense, just not as FluFinder. So for me, the most valuable part was just the learning experience. I mean, it was amazing how much you learn and grow within that short time period. And when I was going through job interviews this spring, it was absolutely, I mean, it was the thing that I talked about most, and it provided me the most kind of meaty examples of my ability to show both kind of productive work as well as personal skills, and so it was incredibly valuable as a professional development opportunity.
I think the most valuable thing was really getting the whole team to agree on a plan and a direction. So our business team was myself and my co-founder, and we were butting heads, but we had to, not only the business side, but also the engineering side, come to agreement on product development questions, technological development questions, finance and operations questions, as well as equity questions, legal questions. So actually, the competitions inspired us to actually literally create the company and move forward in decisions that every company has to make, very tough decisions. And then by the time we had those plans together and we were actually pitching them, we got the repetition of being able to speak with a variety of individuals seamlessly and flawlessly and comfortably, most importantly, about what we're doing in a quick manner. And ultimately, when we went through the business plan competition, we actually got an email from a gentleman we had never even met, and he said, I saw your video online, because it was, I think, live streamed, and he ended up being our first investor. So that was positive. That's not a common story necessarily, but you never know who you're actually going to meet, so go for it. You never know until you're actually going to go through it and give it a shot. So all the best then.
Okay, so when I started Hook, I thought like this was a really cool idea and everyone should get it because I got it. But what the biggest thing that we learned going through these competitions is it's like how to sell your product. because I was getting it and people were not getting it. So that means I was not selling it right. So during the course of EIC and BPC, we really learned how to make it pitch to the right audience in the right way so that they get it in the first few seconds. And that was really essential because beyond that, when we did our Kickstarter, we were aware of what are the things that actually stick with people. And we stuck with that, we made sure that those things come out. So yeah, for us, it was the biggest experience was how to sell this product right.
All good information, thank you. So did you receive prototype funding, and if so, how did you use it? Or how was it valuable in your experience?
Not me.
Yes, I think we got 2,500, and we used that to build a model. It was not a working prototype. I repeat, it was not a working prototype.
Don't tell them that.
Well, in the cases where you can build a working prototype or build a prototype and try to get it to work, that's great. But in our case, that was going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and apparently a couple of years of work. So we did what we thought was best with that funding, and that was to articulate and illustrate physically to the community of individuals, to the audience, what our technology was about. So if you can actually build a prototype and try to get it to work, wonderful. Even if you're not able to get positive test data to say that you've learned something in the process, it's definitely a positive experience. In terms of actually purchasing the components for the prototype, I think we were able to effectively double the amount of money that we were awarded simply by telling the suppliers, hey, look, we're students, this is prototype funding, it's a grant, and we're hoping that you can match this. And when you ask, more often than not, you will receive, especially being a student. People really want to help, so play that student card. Don't be afraid to ask for big things.
That was a brilliant idea. So we did not receive any prototype funding, but since we had access to our lab, we did a little bit of off-hours development of our prototype, and it was also not functioning. It was definitely a concept prototype, but it was just invaluable in communicating what our device would look like and how a person would interact with it. So I highly recommend, if it makes sense for your product, to have some sort of a prompt to be able to help tell your story. It was very, very helpful. And you'd be surprised, even if it sounds like a lot of you will have access to resources on campus, 3D printing and whatnot, but even if you don't, don't underestimate some cardboard and tape. It's helpful what a little, visual can do.
Yeah, we also didn't know about the prototype funding, or else we would have certainly applied. But we got by with less than $500. We made something, we tinkered, we scrounged together, and that's all you have to do is do prove your concept to people and let them know, they're interested in your passion, and they want to know that you feel passionately about this and that this can have an impact. So you don't have to go in there with a working product. I think that one of the things that really worried me is I felt going into the competition, I had to have it done. I had to have something that was ready to go to market. And you don't. You just have to have something that shows promise, and that it's something that you're passionate about.
So what would you say is your best advice to students who are aspiring to be in any of these challenges right now?
Do it.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you're here, if you have any interest whatsoever in any of these competitions, do it. If you've got an idea, apply for the prototype funding and act on it. As crazy as your idea might, the worst thing that you're going to do is play around with something that you think might change the world, and it might not work, but you'll learn a lot. And you might be successful. You might make the next big thing. And at the very least, you will have the time of your life.
You stole my advice. that was it too. Just do it. It's throughout school you have so many opportunities available to you. So I know I waffled on a lot of different opportunities throughout my grad program, and I'm so glad that I took the plunge on this one because it was absolutely worth it. I think one of the most enjoyable parts of it was I've never gotten to think more deeply about a topic before. I mean, you just really, criticize it inside and out, and dream about it, and it's really a fun experience. And like Ryan said, even if you don't take it forward all the way, it's an incredible learning experience.
Oh, lots of things to share. So other than the fantastic advice from Nike and their friends, just do it. I would say, so the first thing that comes to mind is what my entrepreneurship professor told me, first entrepreneurship class I ever took. He says, here is the model for creating a business, any business in the world. Find something you care about. You're gonna be through the ringer, you and your team, you may be butting heads, I know we did, for the better. So find something that you care about. Find something where you wake up in the morning, you're like, what's that smell? What's that burn? Oh, that's a fire under my butt. And where you really are motivated and excited, and you care about making an impact in this way. Secondly, find a team that you also care about and that you believe you can work well with, people that you share values with. For us, it was open, transparent, and frequent communication. It was compassion. It was a heart connection with reducing the cost of water purification. Make sure this team is capable of creating the solution that you believe can, hopefully you have some good reason to believe, can actually address the problem that you're trying to address. And then identifying a business model that is simple, straightforward, and is efficient. And that's a whole nother conversation. We can talk hours about just that. But there's only so many business models. Occasionally there's a novel business model or an application of a certain business model in an industry, and it's novel in that industry. But generally speaking, there's only so many business models. So think about what they all could be and put them on the table and identify which one to start with. And make sure that you are understanding who your customer is and that you're addressing the pain point of a customer, of an actual individual or group of individuals or group of companies. So many times we say, oh, water, I'm going to reduce the cost of water treatment, but for whom? Is it a desalination plant or is it the homeowner? These are important questions to ask. Lots of other things I could share. I would recommend talking at least initially